Beloved, welcome back to the Cozy Cabin. I've got a very exciting video for you today. We're going to go back and revisit. I'm going to share with you my experience of what it's been like living with the EcoFlow Delta Pro Ultra with the smart panel that we installed in the Cozy Cabin. We've had an entire winter to live with it. I'll share my experience, and at the end I've also got some hardware. This is the new plug-and-play EV charger. Now, I don't have an EV, but I've got a whole lot of good friends that live about 2 hours away from here that are reluctant to bring their EVs out here because they're worried about power and not having enough, well, charge to get back home. And we're going to remove that excuse. So we'll install that. But first off, let me give you an overview and share my experience of living with the off-grid system. We had a hard winter, really put a system to the test. Now, I guess before we get started on that charger, let me give you an overview of the system, of how it works, how it ties in. And there's really two reasons for it. One is when you have a place that's unoccupied like this, or you may not be around all the time, and it's got water, it's got plumbing in it. If there's no one here to turn on the furnace, there's no one here to keep the fire going, if the power goes out, and we have power outages that can last multiple days here, then the whole place is going to freeze up and it's going to destroy everything. So we had to absolutely have a system that was completely automated so that if and when the power goes out and no one was around, I didn't have to lose any sleep over that whatsoever. And that's basically what we've accomplished. This right here is the heart of our system. This is the Delta Pro Ultra. This is the whole home solution. Now, many of you have bought the Delta Pros. So both of these are compatible. Essentially what this is doing is that these are batteries, and you can add up to, it's either 4 or 5 of these per stack, and that is your 240, 120 inverter right there that does all of the magic. It plugs into your house via the smart meter, which is right here. Did I say smart meter? Smart panel. Your house has an electrical panel, just like this. The smart panel mounts right next to it and essentially becomes a transfer switch. When the power turns off or shuts off because of a storm, this automatically switches immediately, and now you're powering off of the Delta Pro Ultra. Now watch these lights. I'm going to simulate, let's say the storm comes, tree branch falls on the power line, boom. That's how fast the transfer is. Now we're not pulling power off the grid. The whole house is being powered, everything, furnace, pumps, hot water heater, all the lighting, refrigerator, off of the backup battery system completely. And when the power comes back on, it will automatically switch over and you don't have to do anything. You won't even know anything happened. And really with this application, if you were living in here, you wouldn't have any idea that there wasn't grid power except for that red light, which tells you right there that we are on battery power. Now the power comes back on. You'll see here, this will flip to white. Give it a second. Now we're back on grid power. Here on the display, if I switch off that grid power, now we're running just off of the Delta Pro Ultra. You can see this is the output. I've got a few lights on, the refrigerator compressor's running. So we estimate this system with just the 2 batteries, really at a really small configuration, that this will run the cabin for about 3 days of normal use. What's cool about this is just it's hands off. You don't have to mess around with it. Like in the past, I had backup generators and I'd have to get up in the middle of the night and start the generator and then make sure it had fuel and you could never leave. It's completely automated. If the power is off for, let's say, 24 hours and your battery's now down to 70%, the moment that power comes back on, now it's charging itself through the grid. In addition to that, we got solar coming in, and that's charging it as well. And everything's plug and play. Most of you are going to have your power panel. It's going to be in your garage. It's not going to be inside like this because this is a 400 square foot cabin. So you're going to have if you have an electrician mount the smart panel, have that put in, the rest of everything's going to be plug and play. You never have to have an electrician come out again. You want to add a generator, bring it in, plug it in. You want to add electric EV car charger, plug it in. You don't have to have the guy coming out all the time. So that's what's really nice. So it's cool to have a backup system that's completely automated that you don't have to worry about. It's going to transfer over automatically if you're not at home, keeping your house from freezing. But the benefit of being able to have a smart system that now is going to analyze your rates, and it's going to charge, and it's going to buy power when it's cheap and use the big batteries as a reservoir when power is expensive, means that these systems can pay for themselves inside 2-3 years. Because if you're paying 10 cents a kilowatt off-peak hour, charging your high draw items like your EV, or if you've got a swimming pool that you're heating, this can figure that all out for you, and you don't have to worry about it. So that, I mean, that's a huge bonus that I wasn't even considering. I was just looking for a backup system, but to be able to save, you know, several $1,000s a year on power bills, that's a huge bonus. Now, I'm not going to install this inside. That wouldn't make any sense because it won't reach outside. I think we've got a 25-foot lead or so. But I wanted to just show you how it'll work. This panel, for most of you guys, is going to be in your garage, and that's where your cars are going to be. So here's all you have to do. You want to add an EV charger? Plug it in here. Yellow means power coming to the system, and boom. That's all you have to do to install an EV charger in your garage. This is my favorite part, the wireless touchpad. I don't know, I like the animations, and if you're a nerd, you can geek out on this, but it's just kind of fun. You can see, you know, what your power consumption is. You can control everything. You can see what circuits are drawing what. So if you have a teenager that's using too much power, you can actually nail it down. And what's going to be cool is with the new system that monitors, you know, peak usage and, you know, buying when it's cheap, it's going to show you how much you save too. It's going to show you, okay, so you're buying power at 10 cents instead of 30 cents. And so you can flex on your friends or whatever you like. But I think that that's cool. Now, I told you we are going to install this. It's not going to be in here, because this is not a garage, but I made plans when I did the electrical. We're going to install this outside where it can actually be used. The problem that guys are running into is using a dryer plug to charge your EV. Now, I don't think that those home systems were set up for the massive draw of these electric vehicles, and I've been hearing about them getting hot and plugs melting, all sorts of problems. My original plan was, I thought, well, if someone comes up here with a Tesla, they can use their adapter and they can plug in here. But this is going to be a lot cleaner and a lot nicer. It'll have the regular plug. It's going to manage that, and I think it's going to be a lot safer. All right, so I cut a piece of CVG fur that's just a little bit bigger than that back panel on that car charger. Got a nice template right here. So this is the hardware. So if we put these 3 screws in, I love templates. That's a nice touch. I'm glad when manufacturers do that, because measuring these holes are always so, I never get it right. Everything always sits crooked. Goodness, gentlemen, what did we do before Milwaukee packouts? I finally had, you know those little silly red bit, you buy those things with the bits that you can't get them back in? I had an absolute Tourette's meltdown the last time I used one of those, and I said never again. So what I did is I bought the bigger one with the dividers, and I will never run out of bits again. I got my Torx, I got my Phillips 1, 2, 3, my drill bits. Never again am I going to be looking for bits. So this was one of the best things I ever did. I'm not super stoked about having this off to the side here, but it will keep it under the roof, or the little roof. It is NEMA 4 rated, so it's waterproof. It's suitable to mount outside. So let me tuck it in there as much as possible. The question always comes up, why did we build the cabin so close to the road? This is a small lot. It's a 2-acre lot that we bought that's right next to ours. We didn't want someone else building, you know, right close to us. And it also has a build site for a cabin and a house. We're hoping to put a house on off the road a little bit, but this was, with the setbacks to the river and everything, this is this is the only place we could put it. There is no option. We're out west, we're really limited by setbacks and what you can do with your land. There's a lot of rules, especially when it comes to rivers and such. Okay, I think it should hang on there now. Oh, perfect. Very cool. That's actually I can live with that. That's pretty nice. To power this up, we should be able to just plug into the 50 ampere. There are multiple cords that you can get with these. So this is the one that plugged into the smart home panel that we did earlier. This one has the, I think that's the 50 amp that we put in. So I'm thinking that should just go here and twist lock into the bottom, and voila, we got an EV fast charger. That is very cool. That's a good selling point for my friends. And we are charging. Goodness, that is cool. Like the idea of having an EV charger, I immediately started getting hives thinking about the $7,500 electrician bill. But really, what's cool about that smart panel is have that installed, have an electrician come out, do that, pull the permit, and then after that, anything you want to add is going to be things you can do yourself. Just plug and play. You can add your generator, you could add an EV charger, you can have multiple Delta Pro or the Ultras, stack it up, according to what you need. If you can't afford to buy it all up front, you can buy minimum and start building upon that. So I really like that. It really puts the power back in the hands of the people for sure. Very happy with that. Well, that's about all I have for you today. That went surprisingly easy. Shout out to our good friends at EcoFlow. I'm very proud to be working with such a good company. We've been with them from the very beginning. We've met the people, we've met the engineers, and it's just a wonderful product. We use it, it's everything. I got it in the van charging right now. We got solar at the house. It's actually EcoFlow system running with the whole 2.0 shop. It's off grid. I am a huge fan, and I think that comes through because I like the company and I'm proud to be affiliated with them. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this interesting. May God bless you and your families. Please keep us in your prayers, and we'll see you all on the next video.